Hi, uh, let us continue our discussion on DC generators. In this session, we will be discussing about the different terminologies of winding, the equation of EMF for the DC generators, and the different types of DC generators. Okay, so starting with the winding terminology. So, what is mean by conductor here? So conductor is any material which allows the flow of current, right? So here it is nothing but the material which is under influence of the magnetic field, which is placed in the armature slot. Okay, what is a turn? So the two conductors which are placed in two different slots, if they are connected together, we call it as a turn. So this is what the structure of the turn looks like. This is a single conductor placed in one slot, and this is another conductor placed in another slot. If these two conductors are connected together, we call it as a turn. Therefore, number of conductors Z is equal to 2 times the number of turns will gives the total number of conductors in a machine. Next, what is mean by a coil? So the n number of turns which are grouped together, we call it as a coil. Okay, a number of turns which are grouped together, we call it as a coil. And the coil, it may contain either a single turn or it may contain multiple turns. So this is the coil which has a single turn. So this is a 2-turn coil, and this is the multiple turn coil. Okay. Next, what is meant by pole pitch? So pole pitch is nothing but the distance between two adjacent poles. It is generally measured in terms of the number of slots, that is total number of slots in periphery of the armature divided by the number of poles will gives us the pole pitch. I repeat, pole pitch is nothing but distance between two adjacent poles, and it is basically measured in terms of number of slots available in the armature periphery. So the total number of slots divided by the number of poles will gives us the pole pitch. Okay, now moving on to the EMF equation. So let us consider the related parameters to derive the expression for EMF. Assuming the number of poles of generator as P and the flux produced by each pole as phi, and the speed of the armature in revolution per minute, let us take it as N, capital N. The total number of conductors, let us take as Z, and the number of parallel paths on which the conductors are being distributed or divided, let us call it as A. And we know A will be having different values for different types of winding. A is equals to P for the lap type winding, and A is equals to 2 for the wave wind, for the wave type of winding. Okay, and so we can consider the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. According to this law, the EMF induced in the conductor can be defined as change rate of cutting the flux, that is d phi divided by dt. According to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, we can define E is equal to d phi by dt. Now, so if we consider one complete revolution, that is 360-degree mechanical rotation of the generator, the flux cut will be depending on all the poles, that is the conductors which are placed in armature periphery should cut the flux, and it should be linked with all the poles. Hence, the flux cut will be treated as the total flux will be phi into number of poles, phi into P. I repeat, when we consider one complete revolution, the total flux cut by all the poles can be taken as phi into P. Okay, and the time taken to make one complete revolution in terms of second is 60 divided by n seconds. Therefore, the EMF is d phi by dt. The rate of change of flux d phi can be taken as 5 into p divided by the time change is 60 divided by n. So if we simplify, we will get the EMF as 5pn divided by 60. This is the EMF which is developed in a single conductor. Now there are n number of conductors which are distributed in n parallel paths. So now if we consider the total number of conductors as Z, and they will be distributed among all the parallel paths. Assuming the number of parallel paths as A, I repeat, assuming the number of conductors as Z and number of parallel paths as A, the conductors in a single path can be taken as Z by A. Okay, so if we think there are A number of parallel paths and Z conductors should be distributed in A paths, so in a single path we can take Z by A number of conductors. Hence, the EMF induced, total EMF induced can be expressed as EMF induced in a single conductor into number of conductors in a single path, which is 5pn by 60 is the EMF induced in a single conductor multiplied with the conductors distributed in a single path is Z divided by A. Hence, the expression for the EMF is 5pnz by 60 into A. So, where A will be equals to P for lap winding and it is equals to 2 for the wave winding. Okay. Next, we will move with the types of generator. So, depending on the method of giving the current or passing the current to the field winding, we classify the DC generators into separately excited and self-excited DC generators. Depending upon the method of supplying the current to the field winding, we call it as excitation process, and depending on the method of excitation process, DC generators can be classified into separately excited and self-excited DC generator. The self-excited DC generator can be further classified as shunt generator, series generator and compound generator. Compound generators are further classified as cumulative and differential generator. Let us take one by one and we will see in detail. First, we'll take the separately excited DC generator. As name indicates here, we use a separate DC supply, an external separate DC supply to provide the excitation to the field winding, or to provide the current to the field winding. If we use a separate or external DC supply, we call such generators as separately excited DC generator. We use an external supply to pass the current to the field winding. Okay, we call them as separately excited DC generator. This is what the structure for the separately excited generator looks like. Here we have used the DC supply, external DC supply, and which is being used to pass the current to this field winding. So field winding terminals, we have indicated it as F1, F2, and the generator armature is indicated with this symbol, and the direction of the current flowing through the different field winding and the armature we have indicated over here. IF represents the field current. IF represents the field current. IA represents the armature current. So here the load is being connected to these two terminals. So here you can see the armature current, whatever flows, the same thing will be flowing through the load. Therefore, the armature current is equals to the load current here. Armature current is equals to the load current, and this is the terminal voltage which we can measure across these two terminals of the armature, and the EMF will be induced in the armature. We indicate with the E. Now we will see the expression for voltage and current. Okay. So as I said, the current, armature current IA is equals to load current IL. IA is equal to IL. And we know whenever we pass the current, the field winding produces the necessary magnetic flux. The conductors which are placed in the armature periphery, they cuts the field magnetic flux, and it produces the EMF in the armature. Now this EMF contains, the terminal voltage is nothing but a part of the EMF. But not only this terminal voltage, there are some other factors which are a part of the EMF here. Now let us see what are those factors. So the armature will be having some small amount of resistance, due to which the voltage drop will take place, and we call such voltage drop as an armature resistance voltage drop, and we indicate that with as IA into RA. Armature resistance RA and current through armature IA is armature resistance voltage drop. Generally the value of RA will be very, very small. Next is this brush contact will produce some amount of voltage drop. We call it as an brush contact voltage drop. Practically this will be very, very negligible. And in addition to this, okay. So whenever the armature carries the current, that is when IA flows through the armature, it produces its own magnetic flux, and this will try to destroy the main flux. That is, whenever the current flows through this armature, let me just indicate it, through this armature, it produces its own magnetic flux around the armature like this, and it tries to suppress this main flux. This is the main flux. It tries to suppress this main flux. Hence, in this process, some amount of voltage drop will take place, and we call it as armature reaction voltage drop. So here the three more parameters which are involved with the EMF induced in the armature. So one is armature resistance voltage drop, which is IA into RA, which causes due to the resistance of armature, brush contact voltage drop, and armature reaction voltage drops. So the expression for EMF can be written as E is equal to Vt, that is terminal voltage, plus IA into RA, armature resistance drop, plus V brush, plus armature reaction drop. So this is the expression for the EMF induced in the armature. It contains terminal voltage, IA into RA, armature resistance drop, V brush voltage drop, and armature reaction drop. But the magnitude of the EMF induced will always be calculated using this expression, that is E is equal to 5P NZ divided by 60 into A. So this is about separately excited DC generator. Now let us move with the self-excited DC generator. So self-excited in the sense, the generator will produce its own EMF, and which can cause the flow of current, and that current is be passed through the field winding, and hence we call this generator as a self-excited generator. That is, when the field winding is supplied from the armature of generator itself, we call these generators as a self-excited generator. And based on how the field windings are connected with the armature, we classify further as a shunt generator, series generator, and then compound generator. So we will take one by one. Considering the shunt generator, as I said, so this is depending on how the field windings are connected with the armature. Shunt means parallel, right? So here the field windings are connected in parallel with the armature. So here you can observe the field winding is connected in parallel with the armature. Therefore, it is called as the shunt generator. And for this parallel combination, the load is being connected and terminal voltage is measured at these two terminals. So we just observe the direction of the currents here. So the armature current is indicated with IA. ISH is the field current. Here we call it as parallel or the shunt current, ISH. SH stands for shunt. Shunt current, ISH. Shunt field current. IL is the load current here. So you can just observe at this particular node, this IA gets divided as IL and ISH. I repeat, at this nodal point, IA is get divided as IL and then ISH. Therefore, IA is equal to ISH plus IL according to KCL we can write. So, IA is equal to IL plus ISH. Okay, and also you can see since they are all connected in parallel circuits, we know the voltage remains same. So the voltage of the field winding and of the armature and the load is same, which is can be taken as Vt, and hence we can find the value of field resistance here or the field current. So by considering the terminal voltage, that is Vt can be taken as ISH into RSH, and therefore ISH can be treated as Vt divided by RSH. So ISH is Vt divided by RSH. RSH is the field winding resistance, parallel field winding resistance. And here we have already discussed the EMF. It includes this terminal voltage, armature resistance drop, brush contact drop, and armature reactance drop. Therefore, we can write E is equal to Vt plus IaRa plus V brush. Practically, the brush contact and the armature reaction drop will be very, very small and they will be negligible. Okay. Now, how we can express the power which is developed in armature? So, we know power is equal to voltage into current. So, in armature, the current flowing through the armature is Ia, and the voltage developed in the armature is nothing but EMF. Therefore, the power developed in the armature is EMF into armature current Ia. Next is power available at the output is load voltage and the load current. So here the load voltage is terminal voltage Vt and the load current is IL. So the product of Vt into IL will gives us the load power. Okay, so this is about the series generator. Shunt generator. Let us move it to the series generator. So here the field winding should be connected in series with the armature. So this is what the structure. So this is the armature, and for this the field winding is connected. Okay, and for this combination the load is being connected. So here let us see the armature current is Ia, and the same thing will be flowing through the field, and here Ia is equals to field current ISE. Let us call the field current as ISE, series field current. and IL is the load current. So here IA is equals to ISC into IL. There is no branching over here. So the same current whatever flows in the armature will flows through the field winding and through the load. Therefore IA is equal to ISC, which is equals to IL. Now the expression for the EMF, let us see. Here along with Vt plus IARA, V brush and then armature reaction drop, we also need to consider the drop due to this field winding. Therefore, the expression for the EMF is equal to Vt plus IARA plus ISC RAC plus V brush. Since ISC is equals to IA, we have considered here ISC as IA itself. Okay, so I have not written, but here Vt IARA plus ISC RAC plus V brush. IAC is equal to IA, therefore I have considered both the currents as IA. Okay, another simple way to find this expression is we can simply replace this armature part as EMF, that is like this. Sorry. Okay. So this is the resistor. One second, let me just redo it. This is an armature resistance and this is the EMF. If you could use this as E and IARA. So, and this portion is field winding and here is a load. You can just take the by applying the EMF to this particular loop, okay, we can find the expression for EMF. This is another alternate way. That's all about this session. Thank you.